everyone, if you don't know me, I'm Vana. I am the owner of the Vanaverse, and this is my new series, Verse and Voices, highlighting authors and connecting them with local readers, because as we know, there are a lot of readers in this community, and I wanted to kind of help bring them together with local readers and kind of connect them and help them discover a new voice. So this is our very first event, and I'm so excited to have Poppy here with us. And I know Poppy has been such a good friend. She's been such a good sport through this. And yeah, I'm just so excited for her to be the first one. Clearly, she's very excited, you guys. Like.
I'm very easygoing, so I'm a good test subject.
Yes. Just so you guys are aware, there's this event's going to be 4 parts. It's going to be the interview with Poppy, and I'm going to ask her just a couple questions about like her writing style, what inspired her to write, her books, and her evolution from book 1 to book 3. And then if you guys have any questions for Poppy that we don't get to talk about with me, feel free to ask her a question. I know you guys are probably know her very well, but maybe there's something that about her books that you don't know and you would like to know. And yeah, and then we're gonna take a little break for you guys maybe to use the restroom, get some drinks, snacks, and then we have a very special surprise for you guys that I'll let Poppy reveal at that point. And then we're just going to do a signing and a book meet. And yeah, so awesome. That's how it's going to go. And just a couple things. It is going to be recorded. So you have my husband taking behind the scenes. So you might be in the video. If you do not want to be on camera, let us know. We'll see if we can blur your face out. I'm sure you guys are probably aware the books that we're covering is very 18 plus, very adult, mature themes. At any point, should you get uncomfortable, feel free to leave at your own discretion. I have a sign-in sheet in the front over there. Just sign in, just so I know who attended today, just to kind of send you guys a thank you email, and to let you guys know, you'll be the first to know when there's another event coming up. At the sign-in sheet, there's going to be a Post-it, so just grab it for Poppy to help her write your name, so you have more time to talk to her rather than tell her how to like spell your name. Even though I'm sure she knows how to spell most of you guys' names. No? Okay, well, that's why the Post-its are here. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. So let's get into it.
Okay.
Poppy.
Hi.
How you feeling? Are you ready?
Yeah.
This is going to be fun. This is going to be great. I have a couple icebreaker questions. I know those are Poppy's favorite, just to kind of break the ice a little bit. So if you could have a useless superpower, what would you pick? Not like being able to fly or anything, like just something like random and crazy.
I'm just gonna go with what I said earlier, and that is to have the ability to have the hair trigger orgasm that the FMCs all have in romance novels.
Like 47 times? Yeah.
Just rapid fire, boom, boom, boom.
One after the other, right? That's right.
They seem to be living a really good life, and you know what? I would take that. It's not useful, but I would take it.
I mean, listen, it would be very helpful. It'd be very nice. All right. If your next book had to be written entirely in emoji, what would the title look like in all of them?
The next one? Okay, so I'm going to use the little work in progress I have, just kind of like lingering, but it's going to be the flower bouquet, a woman, question mark, kissy face, and then another woman.
Question mark?
And then like maybe some more flowers, because it was actually, the basis of that story was actually inspired by Miley Cyrus's Flowers. So that sort of like got the ball rolling, and then it became a sapphic by awakening situation after that.
All right. I would love to know the emojis inside the book.
I don't know if I can share those emojis.
Well, okay. If you could add a random talking animal into your life, what animal would it be, and what would be the first thing that they say to you?
I'm debating on if I want to pick one of my cats or my dog. Honestly, Mosey would just be like, "Mommy, I love you. Mommy, I love you. Mommy, I love you." I'm kind of curious about Biscuit and what he has to say, because I want to know why he lives under the couch and he won't come out and say hi to anybody.
He's probably like, these people.
Like this fucking dog. It's still here.
All right. Awesome.
He would be very salty, I think.
Do you guys feed him?
We do feed him. he chooses to live under the couch when the dog is out and about. He just will not have anything to do with our dog.
Maybe he's just like a lone body, you know,
sure.
by himself, under the couch, in the darkness. Perfect. All right, let's talk a little bit about you, right? So tell us how you decided to become an author and your journey from the beginning.
So I basically wrote a stray on a whim. Like this was no like grand plan I had. Like I was always interested in writing. I took creative writing in high school and college, and like I've always been a reader. I've always had a strong interest, but I always just operated under the assumption that if you want to publish a book, you gotta like get an agent and query, and it's just this whole thing, and like you don't get like rarely people get published. And when I got into Kindle Unlimited reading and I figured out that a lot of authors were self-published, and I realized, oh, they're just people who have day jobs, people who have other lives, and they just have stories they tell and they throw them up on Amazon and they can do it. And I was like, huh, I didn't realize that was an option. And so I had an idea rolling around in my head, and I started writing it. And I had some friends like that I'd met through like the book community, and like, can you guys just read this as I write it and tell me if it's any good or not? And they went nuts over it. And they were a fantastic cheerleading section and kept me going. They were like, "What's next? What's next?" And I'm like, "Oh God, I got to keep going." And then eventually, I got to the point where I was like, "I'm going to write a book. I think I'm going to publish it because it doesn't seem like it sucks." So I did it. Like 3 months, I wrote that book and then put it out into the world.
You wrote a stray in 3 months?
Just about, yeah. Like actual writing process and then like editing took a couple months after that. But yeah, basically wrote the book in 3 months.
That's really impressive.
I was just writing every day, like spare moment. The scenes just kept coming to me rapid fire. I'd be typing. I started it on my phone because I didn't even have a laptop that I used regularly. So I just started writing on my phone and a Google Doc. And eventually I started stealing his work tablet and typing on that. But that was a pain in the butt too. So once I got to the point where I was like, I think I actually am going to finish this book, and I think I am going to publish it, I invested in a Mac so I could like do the formatting and all that stuff myself, and there it is. It was not like anything planned out. It was very spur of the moment.
Well, that's awesome. And now look, you have 3 because you took that jump. Would you look at that? Well, it's dark romance, right? So what inspired you to go into that specific genre?
I think it's mostly that's what I was reading a lot of at the time. I was pretty heavy into like the romance genre, and at the time, a lot of dark romance. Like I read pretty much any genre and any flavor of romance, but at that point, like I was because I had really gotten into it through like Tate James books, and then like the Zodiac Academy books, and then ACOTAR books, like all that. Like that was like all my little baby steps into the whole book community, and then I just kept going from there. And so I kept seeing patterns of like different archetypes and different plots and different tropes that just kind of kept you showing up in the same books. And I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna flip the switch on this. I'm gonna do it different. I wanted to write something where there was older characters because all the characters were like barely legal or in their 20s, and like you don't see a lot of like FMCs or MMCs like that are in their 30s or 40s and like have their own like sets of problems. And like usually if somebody's married, it's an unhappy marriage, and then there's always like this garbage husband and she gets rescued for him. And like I said this last time, I like my husband. He's a good guy. I like him. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to like write a story where the husband like was actually the one we were rooting for.
Yes.
You don't realize it at first because it's a little clueless in the beginning, but then he gets his shit together.
Yes, and I can fairly say that I've had my fair share of experience in reading her books and not knowing the pattern until I read her books. But I love that it's a different take on your typical dark romance, because it's like you said, like oftentimes the main character is found in a situation where it's toxic and they have to find like an escape route, right? So that's the thought that I had in reading Astray. I was like, okay, like this is the typical marriage is in shambles. How is she gonna get rescued? And then you're like, huh, nope, psych. And then you like reel it back in and you're like, well, it's actually the husband that's gonna do the rescuing.
Yeah.
And I love that. It's different. It's so fresh, and I love that. Was there like a moment, like, because I know you said you were reading like Akatar and like all those entryway, those gateway books. Was there a moment where you were like, I want to write a Stray, like that type of book?
I just like the beginning scene in the book, like where she's at the bar and he shows up and they meet. Like that scene just kept playing over and over and over in my head and would not go away. And so I just had to write it down because it wouldn't leave me alone. And I'm definitely a pantser. I don't plot ahead of time, so I don't know what's happening until I write it down, and then I'm like, oh hey, yeah, that makes sense.
You figure it out as you go.
Yeah, I make it work. Um, like I didn't like I knew it wanted to be a dark, kind of serious, kind of angsty book, but I also wanted the love not to be toxic. That was my main goal. Is like I didn't want the actual love, the relationship to be toxic. I wanted them to be in a dark situation. I wanted them to go through dark things. I wanted them to come through it stronger together. And I wanted to show that like even if love is hard, it's still worth fighting for. Because a lot of like MMCs and romances, like they tend to be like perfect to the point that it's hard to believe. And I wanted to like show like, oh yeah, they can mess up sometimes, and like you can still work through it. It's okay. We don't have to like burn it all to the ground just because he works too much, or things like that. Because I don't know. It was just wouldn't leave me alone until I wrote it down.
I remember you were saying like, you said this quote, and I'm probably paraphrasing really hard, but it's like, even though the love is hard, it doesn't make it. It's not worth fighting for. Something like that.
Yeah.
You said that, and I was like, I love that so much because yes, there's always gonna be like trial and tribulations in marriage, but if the love is there, right?
Yeah, and I mean, there are situations where it's not worth fighting for, but at the same time, like there are plenty of times where you go through the phases where you're just like, oh, why? But like you think about it at the end of the day, like that doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like you just got to push through that. You had a bad day, get through it, and like you love each other. It's still worth fighting for.
Yeah, that's great. What would you say is the hardest part about writing dark romance?
Um, marketing it to the right readers. Like I am not an overly emotional or like triggered person. So like the content that I write really doesn't bother me or stress me out all that much. Like my readers, my alpha readers or beta readers, so they're like, "Oh my god, that made me cry," and I'm like, "Really?
Cool! I made you cry? Yes.
Yes, I made you cry. That is amazing. That's a sign that like I'm hitting people in their feelings, and that excites me. That like, oh, okay, all right, I'm writing some emotions down. That's awesome. But like, it doesn't really hit me the same way at all. Like there's a black hole right here where my heart should be, I think. But all like the dark romance genre spans like from your Rena Kit, H.D. Carlton's like where the toxic stalker is the one we want, and he's there's nothing really actually redeeming about him in real life when you think about it, but like in a romance escapism thing where you're like, yes, I want this man who's willing to burn the world down for me just so I feel valuable. Like I get why people read those, but then you also have like your Jennifer Hartman Still Beating, where like the main characters go through something traumatic and they come together because of that. And you got to make sure you get the right audience with your marketing, because pretty much all my like not so great reviews of Stray are because people are mad that Timu Jason Momoa is not the end.
Oh boy.
Which is fine. But like I just have to be mindful that when I'm marketing it, like just FYI, this isn't what you if that's what you want, then you need to read a different book, or just go into this an open mind and realize that that's not quite the story I'm trying to tell.
But it's like I said, it's so nice to get like a different aspect of it, because like we said, all of these authors, not any harm to them, but it's the same thing, right? It's like, okay, like the person's in a bad situation, someone comes along and it's some kind of stalker or some kind of toxic behavior, and it's like, okay, but if this happened in the real world, that's dangerous. Like, you don't want a stalker in the real world. So I love that it's a fresh take on that. And I feel like that's what the reading community needs,
I mean,
right?
I basically market it as like, this is what happened. Like, it's a book where the female character realizes being stalked isn't as sexy as romance novels makes it seem.
Yep.
And it's not a dig on those books at all, because I've read a lot of those books and I've enjoyed a lot of those books. Like, they hit a special place in my brain that other books don't hit. And I just wanted to have like some aspects of the darkness, but I still wanted, I'm still a sucker for your golden retriever, cinnamon roll, sweet male character all day long. Like, I want a man that's all in and he's fully supportive, because I'm not one that's getting bossed around. So I like, Kevin could never be one of those alpha holes to me. He'd try to boss me. I'd be like, who are you talking to? Like, just, that's just, it's not in my personality. So I don't think I can write that.
Yeah. Well, speaking of your personality, what would you say are bits and pieces of you in your books? Like any values, personal beliefs, or anything like that?
I mean, I definitely put a lot of my values in these books, and I think if you read them, you'll see that, and you'll definitely pick up on it. Like, like, there's definitely a lot of me in these books. I'm not writing anything in there that I don't agree with, and like the people who say things we don't agree with are usually like the bad guys. Like, I'm not trying to glorify anything that I wouldn't stand behind in real life.
That's fair. That's fair. You write what you know and you write what you believe. That's right. If someone read all your books without ever meeting you, what would they learn about the type of person you are?
They would learn I'm pretty sarcastic. I think I do like tend to sneak my inappropriate humor in random period places in the books. Just, I like, as serious and as dark as they are, I do like to break the tension like throughout the books, just to kind of give the reader a break. And I believe in like relationships where the men support and stand behind their women, like 10 toes down, like, I'm here for you and I am going to support your dreams, because that's what I have. And I want, that reflects in all of my books. And like, I always have strong female friendships in those books too. Like, there's no petty jealousy between like, or girl drama in these books, because I have very close female friends that like will go to bat for each other no matter what. And so I always have like strong friendships in these books too.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Like you put your life in your books. It's just, oh. And yes, you do bring the humor, because there are times in this book where I was like, Poppy, we need to have a conversation about this guy. And it would just, but it would be great. It is happy ever after at the end, guys. Don't worry, it is. All right, well, let's talk about your books. Why don't you give us a little breakdown of what each book is about and how they're interconnected, because they are standalones, right? Mm-hmm. What are they about and how do they connect?
So I told you I'm a pantser. So I didn't plan beginning of Stray to end of Duress. Like, none of that was pre-planned. I wrote a Stray, and as I was writing a Stray, is a woman who's married, but like, it's not a bad relationship, but the husband works a lot and she feels lonely and she just feels like she's not a priority, and like, they've been married a long time, and just got to the point where she's just questioning, like, can I keep doing this? Can I keep being second fiddle to the job? Like, I'm not happy with this. We need to fix something. And, she gets flirted with by this dark, handsome stranger and like, every woman loves being flattered. Like, if somebody looks like Jason Momoa comes up to you and be like, hey, how you doing? You're going to be like, hi. Like, everybody likes being flattered, but then they realize, no, that's not what I want to put my energy in. And so, like, it's a story of her realizing, I need to do something to fix my marriage before it's irreparably broken. And it's very dramatic, and they come together. It's good. And you meet Serena in a Stray. She's a cop who helps Caleb and Eloise during their trials and tribulations. And as I was writing that book, like, Serena's story started turning in the back of my mind of like, well, why does she get into law enforcement? Why is she doing what she does? And she went through something similar where she needed the help and she wasn't able to get the help that she needed. And so Exile is her story of what she went through. So everything that happens in Exile happened before Stray. So it's like Serena's past. And then in Duress, we meet Dane. We meet Dane in exile, but he pops up in Duress, and it's his whole story. And so it's completely separate from Exile and Astray. But Serena, again, is in Duress because she works with Dane. And then that's so it's like her early years of being a cop. You just get like the sense of like where she started and then where she winds up in Astray. So it actually turns into a big loop, a big time loop. You can read them, like you can start with Exile, Duress, Astray if you wanted to do it in chronological canon order, or you can do it in order of publication. Either way, they work. They work both ways, but yeah, they each stand on their own.
I will say these books will get you very mad while you're reading them. Very mad, but they have happy endings at the end, so rest assured you're good. But you will, it's like a roller coaster of emotions. I would message Poppy all like almost every day and be like, why? Like this man, why are you doing it to this man? It's just, oh, but it's good. It's such a great series, and I love that it is a full circle. You can if you can read them interchangeably, and it's just you get the full story after reading all three. So for your new book, Duress, it came out August 1st. Yay, clap. Yay. Are there any new themes or dynamics that you've explored in Duress that maybe were not in Exile or Astray, or was it kind of consistent throughout?
Well, Astray, you had the married couple, and we got justice for the husband. And then Exile is a friends to lovers situation, but there's a little bit of a love triangle there. And in Duress, again, there's like the triangle situation, but this I did do the bad husband in this one. Like I did revert back to the he's a piece of crap. We're not going to root for him. But the main thing with Duress is I wanted my female main character to be the flawed one in that book. Like she's the one that needs to put the work in to deserve Dane. Like because she really felt like she didn't deserve to be anywhere near him, and that's fair. But like she had to put in the work and realize that like I'm not just the worst decision I ever made. Like if I'm willing to come back from that and willing to apologize for that, I can still have a happy ever after.
And it's different, right? Because in Duress, for those who haven't read the books yet, Astray and Exile from they're dual narrate, they're dual point of views, but they're primarily from the female's point of view. So Duress is a little different. It's from the male's point of view, but also
it's still dual, yeah. But like we start with Dane first.
Dane, yeah. So what made you want to start with Dane first? Because it is different from
mostly because like he was the main character to start with. Because when I had people reading Exile, they read the chapter where Dane actually gets a POV, and they're like, "When's he getting his story?" And I'm like, "Oh, people like him. Oh, I guess I need to figure that out." And so I had to shape the story around him, and so he is like the primary character, although he and Everly both, I think it's a fairly even split with chapters. I haven't really counted it, but we start with Dane, and I do feel like he is the one you're kind of like rooting for to get his happy ending.
Yeah, no, I loved it, and I get it. Like in Exile, you really get to know Dane a little bit more, and at first I was like, oh, I don't really. As I was reading it, I was like, okay, like I want to see like where Dane comes in, because I don't want to give too much away, but I was a little concerned for Dane. I was like, okay, I don't know why does he have like a redemption arc? Do we not know like what's going on here? But then I read and I was like, okay, I get Dane needs his own book. I get it. Like, let me read the next one. So it's like a trust the process type of thing. While you were writing Duress, what preparations or research did you do while you were writing it? So in the book, there's the it's not really a spoiler, but the brother is a lawyer. So did you have to go and dig deep into like the law of what did you
so do? Actually one of my author friends, one of my good author friends is actually a lawyer by day. And so like I've alpha read for her, she alpha read for me. Like we do a lot of chatting constantly back and forth, like helping each other with our writing process. And so she was reading Duress as I was writing it, and I was like, what charges are we looking at here? What terms am I looking at legally that I'm trying to say? Like, so like, every time I had a question about the law, like, is this how they would phrase it? Is this what we're doing? I just like, help me do the law. She was a great resource.
Yeah, you went right to the source, and that probably was more fun than just reading law books and
so
scourging the internet.
No. So if I can find somebody who actually has experience with it, then that's who I go to for my resource, because I'm a lazy writer. I'm a very lazy writer. I don't like to look stuff up if I don't have to. But I feel like you get better information talking to somebody and actually like than a random summary online.
Well, she has experience, so yeah. Was there anything that like she may have taught you that you were like, "Whoa, I was not expecting that"? Or
Well, when I was like, there's a background plot theme in Duress that's tied to the events of exile, and so I had a lot of questions for her about like appeals or like um, retrials, like what are the do-overs that people try to get, like, and so she definitely helped me dig into the like what the options are for those kinds of things. I don't want to say too much and risk giving it away, but she was like, "Oh, really? Is that how that works? Okay, good to know."
Well, now you know.
Now I know.
If you could describe the emotional journey that is duress, besides like frustration, because I know we're gonna all feel that, what would you say? How would you sum it up?
Um, I think it's realizing that you deserve better and it's not too late. You don't have to just settle for the circumstances that you're in. You can change them, and it's okay to change them.
That's good advice. Good advice. It's good advice. Was there a scene in particular, or just overall, like that was challenging for you during while writing Duress?
I'm trying to remember anything that actually happened in that book.
That's fair.
It's like you ask me for a summary of the book, I'm like, I don't know what that book is about.
I feel like readers also
I
experience.
think the trickiest part was writing the part where Everly and Dane's mother come to an understanding, because everything that they've gone through, it really doesn't seem like they should be able to have a functional relationship. And so I think that was maybe one of the tricky dynamics to write there at the end. Like, how can I get her on board so I can get that happy ever ending? Because, well, by every like measurement, she probably should not like Everly, but she does. It's fine. I fixed it. But it was like I had to figure out how to write that forgiveness, and because it's a big thing she has to forgive.
What do you hope that readers would take away from that, like while reading it?
That, you know, have empathy for people who go through something and maybe they make choices that you don't agree with, and they realize that they were bad choices and they want to do better, and that sometimes the circumstances that lead us into the situations are unavoidable and it takes a while to figure out how to get out of it.
Now that you've written 3 books, you've gone through the release process 3 times. So how did it feel releasing Duress compared to releasing Astray and Exile?
Well, I think the biggest change is the first time I hired like a PR company to help me get ARC readers, because I've always managed everything on my own before, but I would only get like 30 or 40 signups for ARC readers, and I mean that's fine, but I wanted to see if there would be a bigger splash if I had more signups, and so I went with this PR company to get more people signed up, and it was a lot of fun, like seeing the reviews come in from people who don't know me, like people that aren't invested in me at all. They just signed up because they're like, "Oh, this book sounds interesting." So a lot of times my previous ARC readers were people who already read my books or already knew me, or they're gonna blow smoke up my butt and make me feel good about my writing. And so seeing good reviews come in from readers who had never read my work before or didn't know who I was, like that was really empowering and made me feel really good about my book. And I'm like, oh, maybe I'm good at this.
Do you remember any like positive comments that you've gotten from ARC readers?
A lot of the ARC readers, and I love this, is they really love the healing journey that Everly goes on in the end, where she goes through therapy and she takes her time becoming okay with herself after everything that she went through. And I got a lot of messages from people who appreciated that. It wasn't just, he rescued me happily ever after. It's all good. Like she took her time. She didn't just jump into the relationship right after the conflict was resolved because she realized like no, that's not going to be a good foundation for anything. I need to work on myself first.
That's awesome. That's I'm sure like as an author, like getting those messages, you're like, wow, like I'm
Mm-hmm.
actually, making an impact on readers and kind of inspiring them, which is
Yeah,
awesome. I'm sure that's such a good feeling to have.
it is. It is.
Yeah, yeah. If so, you were saying earlier that you're working on a completely different work in progress, but in the world of Birch Falls, is it ending with Duress, or can we expect anything in the future in this world?
I I think it's probably highly likely that I'll write more books in Birch Falls just because it's an easy world to dive into and they're interconnected. And I do enjoy writing my angsty emotional stories that stress my readers out and make them angry and make them cry. Like I get such great joy out of that. But when I was writing Duress, and especially with like just the state of everything, it was a little heavy at times, and I was like, I was reading a lot of rom-coms at the time and started feeling like maybe I should write something lighter, something a little less stressful just for me, that's like puts me in a better headspace because I mean when you're stressed out in real life and then you're stressing yourself out in your fictional life, it can be a lot at times. So I pivoted, and the book I'm writing now is more along the rom-com like genre.
Can you tell us anything about the new book that you're writing?
I don't know if it'll be related to Birch Falls unless it's just loosely interconnected with some little Easter eggs, like Brood Awakening might be a coffee shop in the book or something like that. But it's a woman who goes on like a bi awakening journey where she had been in a relationship for a really long time. The relationship ends, and she realizes, oh, I can actually explore different avenues I didn't feel like I was comfortable doing before, didn't feel brave enough to explore before. And so she gets to try a whole new side of her personality out. And I thought it would be fun just to kind of explore that mentally.
It sounds like a fun read.
I think so. It's gotten my friend Jessica, who's the lawyer friend, she and my friend Allie are reading it as I'm writing it, and they seem to be loving it. So
Awesome.
just
Well, I can't wait to read it. So you just have to let us know, keep us updated on that. And if you decide to go back to Birch Falls, also keep us updated on that. And I want to make a comment because you were like, I love when my readers tell me that I made them scream and cry, and I'm just like, yes, you did, you very much did. But that's good. It's good to get like that emotion from the book. That's how you know
yeah.
people are really like engaged and they're really feeling the characters. I don't know about you guys, but I get emotionally attached to characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like even like my husband can tell you, like I go through the motions with the characters, so he never knows what to expect out of me. So it's a good reaction. It's good. But all right, so let's pull out a little bit and kind of focus on after you've written 3 books. What has writing these 3 books taught you about yourself?
I think it's made me realize how important it is just to tell the story you want to tell. And like I have people I go to for feedback that I trust, like my author friends, because I expect them, like they will tell me, no, that's not working out. Can you need to like redo that? That's something's wrong there. Like I like that brutal honesty with feedback, and like I like where you're going, but how you're getting there is not working right now. And I appreciate that kind of feedback where they're like, I know the story you're trying to tell, and they're not telling me not to tell that story. They're just saying, no, you need to like change the wording because it's confusing or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And with readers, you're never ever going to please every single reader because everybody's going into a book with different expectations, and you're never going to meet all of those expectations. So you just have to write the book that meets your expectations and hope somebody else enjoys it. And the fact that anybody enjoyed my books is like, that's a win. That
Yeah.
excites me so much.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yes. I can say there's at least one person, me, that loved your books. But I'm sure there's more than one person, obviously. But um, what is something you wish readers knew more about you, like as a writer?
I'm very approachable. Like, I don't get a lot of random tags or comments and stuff on social media because I'm still like relatively like small time in the author game, but like if you slide in my DMs and they're like talking to me, ranting to me about my book, and just be like, why is he doing this? I'm so mad. Like, I love it. I live for that kind of stuff. Like, it just makes me happy just knowing somebody else is out there reading my work and feeling feelings about it. It makes me happy.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure you have your share of experience. No, but it's good. That's awesome. I love that. I love it's different, right? Like when you are reading the book and then you like get to message the author and you're like, what was going through your head when writing about this person? It's really fun. It's really fun for us too.
It's fun seeing them go through the emotional roller coaster. It excites me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And one thing I will say about Poppy, she likes gifs.
I say gif.
Gifs. I don't.
Gif.
You guys know what I'm talking about. So every time like I'll message her, she sends me like a gif, and I'm just like, okay.
Gifs are my love language.
Yes, very much so. Awesome. Well, you already kind of gave us a few takeaways from your book, but is there any specific takeaway that we haven't already spoken about that you wish or hope readers will take away when reading for the first time?
I hope they realize they don't have to settle for the bare minimum.
I know, that's right. That's right.
And also, just because he has a pretty face and a nice smile does not mean
he's a nice
he's
guy.
The one.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah, that's all. There's nothing else to say about that. Yeah. How do you hope your writing will impact somebody's life, maybe like within the next few years down the road?
I hope it helps people recognize those red flags that do crop up in real life, that they are actually red flags. Like in the beginning, especially with Astray and Exile, like the red flags are subtle. Like especially like Serena when she was in her 20s and like the way Dom was behaving. Like in my 20s, I would have been all over that. I would have been like, oh, like I'm all about this. But as a 40-year-old, I'm like, no, hell no. Like, and so I hope people like realize these red flags are very real. They do crop up in real life, and they are worth paying attention to because they aren't as romantic or as sweet that you think they are. They are like bits of they're attempts to control you.
Yeah, yeah. If you can tell your past self one piece of advice, what would it be before writing Astray or in the process of writing Astray?
Learn how to social media.
Yep, that's a good one. That's good.
The writing part is really not that bad for me. It's the marketing part that I struggle with, and like having to get myself out there in social media. I'm not a content creator. I'm not a person that's naturally comfortable in front of a camera or like being perceived, and so that has been a big struggle trying to get eyeballs because there are so many books out there right now, so many authors, so many books, and there's a lot of amazing ones out there. And trying to get noticed in that throng is hard, and you do have to have like a pretty eye-catching social media presence unless you get lucky and somebody popular likes your book and they talk about it and do the work for you. But I didn't realize how much of that would be part of this, and I wish I had known that beforehand.
What would you have done differently if you did know?
I don't know. Figure out how to TikTok.
That's fair.
Figure out how to do a TikTok dance. I don't know.
Honestly, I don't blame you. TikTok is not my thing either.
We talked about this last time. TikTok and I are still not friends.
I feel like to master TikTok, it's like a different, like there should be like a class on like how to get TikTok, just how to do it.
It's too much work for me. I just want to watch the funny things on the TikTok. Why do you mean I have to follow all these rules and like all these different things and then finally post something and hope it goes to the right part of the algorithm? Like I can't do all that. That's a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot. I don't blame you. I'm right there with you. Well, those are all of my questions. So we'll turn it to the audience. Does anybody have a question for Poppy? Don't be shy. We're all friends here.
What is your opinion stance on the use of AI in writing?
I don't touch AI. I don't have anything to do with AI. I don't do AI art. I don't use Copilot in my Word. Like I am very strongly no. I don't have anything to do with it. Because my books were uploaded to the whatever it was that Meta was using to train their AI. So my books were involved in that, and I'm not super excited about that. So I don't do any AI.
All right. Well, if that's the case, Poppy, thank you for giving us insight on your journey and your books. We will take a short intermission, as you will. Feel free to use the bathroom, get a drink, snack, and we'll be back for a special surprise that Poppy has waiting for you guys. Yeah. I try to be.
I got here with books.
That's what matters.
That's what I did. I got here with books.
But that's why.
And I got here.